And then I rewatched it this time, and a lot of focus on the writing, and I'm like, this show is so problematic. How is no one talking about it?
อันที่หน้าขยะแขยง
That one was, even though, yes, again, I go back to the fact that it started out very problematic.
I tell you, I gotta plead ignorance on this thing.
Hi, my name is Samantha and watching Samie's voice. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be doing another colors and commentary. Today I'm going to be talking about Love by Chance. If you haven't watched it already, probably gonna want to watch it first. There should be a link to find it in the description. You can click there, watch it, and then always come back. If you watch my previous video, you know that I did the video on Until We Meet Again. Love by Chance was actually the very first BL that I watched, and I don't know what I was thinking watching it again. Why did I do that to myself? I could have gone on with my life having the pleasant memories of Love by Chance as my very first BL and the warm fuzziness, but I just had to go watch it again. I'm regretting all my life's decisions right now. Okay, well, especially this, because oh my gosh, I don't know what happened. Like, the first time I watched it, I hadn't watched any BL whatsoever, so I guess there was the whole, I didn't know what to expect, and A and Pete was so cute, and that's where my focus was on. And then I rewatched it this time, and a lot of focus on the writing, and I'm like, this show is so problematic. How is no one talking about it? Anyway, for the colors today, I am doing a rose. Yes, for Pete's mom. I loved that part of the story. It was a really cute story. I am cheating because I can't draw a rose, so I had someone draw the rose for me. Ed, you will see his picture here. He did very hard work on the rose for me. I was going to practice blending by painting the rose, but I'm actually thinking the top of the rose I'm going to use my oil pastels and then have that blended in nicely, and then I'm going to use paint for everything else. So we are going to start. First of all, yes, the way the whole Love by Chance, you know, the trope of it, the way it started, and we get introduced to Pete and A. That is cute. It's very, very cute. So, I mean, I can't fault that. I love them. They are adorable. I mean, the writers did, in essence, want to put too many storylines into it. When we started out, it was mostly just about Pete and A, the whole story. And then as Pete and A's story develops, it moves and is no longer just about Pete and A. We have the story of Tam and Ta coming in there. very problematic storyline. I mean, I don't know if it's worse because the first time I watched it, I had not watched Stand Type. So if you've watched Stand Type as well, you know the story, you know Ta's story quite well. So like all of it is like more intense. So, but the first time I watched it, I had not watched Stand Type yet. So no idea what was going on with those two. You only find out later in the story that they're step brothers, but there's this hinting that Tom is in love with Ta, and you're like, okay, where are they going with this? Not really sure. Then you also get Techno storyline. I mean, I love Techno. I love Techno again, also because I watched Fan Type. You get to know Techno quite well, so obviously you already knew who Techno was when the storyline came together, so you know you have that understanding of him. And so yeah, his brother basically selling him, and the brother's friend wanting to make him his wife. Like, we need to talk more about how problematic the storyline is. Like, do the writers in general know anything about consent? I'm asking for me, not even for a friend. Like they brush over consent like it's optional. So there was that. That's the one thing that got me so much. So Techno storyline. Then we've got Pecan and Ten storyline. I remember the first time I watched it, that was my favorite storyline. Obviously the way it develops is a whole other story, but like by the end of the story you feel for Ten, where this is the thing, coming from watching Until We Meet Again and seeing his character as Pete, and then Ten's original character just like that, like I'm also your man, I can still romance type thing, and like it's very annoying, but then you actually watch him really fall for Ken, and you're like, oh, cute. But in the beginning there was also a lot of lack of consent. Yeah, okay, I mean but like okay, yeah, you see this frustration. That's exactly what I was talking about. Watching it, that's what I was feeling. So let's go back to A and Pete. Again, like I said, really love them. They are awesome. Pete is so cute. He's sometimes like annoyingly shy, but you don't, it's not like as bad as like Farm, so it's okay, it's handleable, it's very cute, alright. But then again, Pete's storyline with Pete Trump, again, very problematic. I don't know, like I feel like this show, or this today's segment it's mostly a bit, because it was very hard to handle, like extremely hard to handle. Because what Pete went through with Pete Trump, it really is a part of the story that really makes you feel for him. And it's kind of annoying, in the beginning of the show when they get in together, and A is like to Pete. He really likes him. He has feelings for him, and then like a little bit get it, all right? He had the whole situation with P. Trump, and he's so afraid to put A in the position to be a gay guy and experience people calling him a pervert and all of that stuff. And then he starts pushing Chom, the girl that likes A, onto A, even though he already knows A has feelings for him. You know what I mean? And then you're like, why, dude? Why are you being like this? Everyone knows A has feelings for you. Why are you fighting this? Why are you being so annoying? Again, I get it. He's been through quite an ordeal. He doesn't want A to go through what he's been through, but it doesn't make it easier to palate. And again, like I said, the first time I watched it, I found that really cute. This time it was just annoying. Like, dude, the guy already likes you. Why are you acting like a teenage girl that isn't sure that the person has feelings for them? You go through all that. But I mean, like, in general, the story is quite cute. Yeah, he has a bit of issues with the creation, which kind of puts him in the protector role, but he becomes super possessive, but also like, in general, it was like an actual love story. They met by chance. Yes, that's how they got the name of the show. They got that. The only thing is, after they finally get together, the series stops being about them. We're now just watching other people's storylines develop. They get so much screen time, which, when it comes to the tin can situation, I don't think anyone is complaining, because that one was, even though, yes, again, I go back to the fact that it started out very problematic. It becomes like you get to know Tim, and even though he kisses Ken without his permission, it gets really cute. Ken gets really into it, and then you get the best scene. I won't lie, this is the best scene of the entire show, where Ken is, when they're watching the movie at Tin's house, and Ken's like, you want to kiss me again? Why? And then they kiss, and Tin was like, so how is it? Did it taste nice? And he's like, good. One more time. And you're like, oh! And then Ken refuses to be his boyfriend and breaks Tin's heart, and you're like, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? Like, seriously, all the things you said that you don't want to feel, you're already feeling those things. You pretty much already have him as a boyfriend. Very proud of Tim for standing up for himself and letting Ken know that being just his friend is not good enough. Not a lot of girls would do that in general. Us ladies would be like, okay, we'll take what we can get, and then just not be entirely happy with the situation forever and ever. But Tin actually stood up for himself, and then he goes home and cries, and that was just super, super sad. And we're like, why, Ken? Why? So now this is when I'm like, I shouldn't have watched it a second time, but moreover, I should never have watched episode 1 of season 2 for 3 big reasons. The first one, it's crap. I apologize to that. I know I don't. You could have done so much better. As someone that writes, like, why put in all the work in season 1 to get Tin and Ken to get together and write their story, to restart it in season 2? Same with A and Pete. Why do that to us? Why do they have to break up? It makes, and I think knowing that they break up made watching season 1 again so much harder, because I'm like, all of these things, these emotions we're going through for them, all meaningless because they break up. Why? We have no fucking idea. Personally, I thought it was a terrible reason for them breaking up. The whole Pete's dad thing, the person who was not even involved in the first season story at all. He's the reason they break up? Okay, never mind. Moving on. Yeah, you can tell. Too many emotions. So, going back to all the problematic things, I can't not talk about Ta and Tam's storyline. The step brothers, which we only find out. But my thing is, like, he literally pushes himself on his brother. How does he think that that's okay, right? Like when he pushes Ta down and tries to kiss him, like that. I'm sorry, but like, is that what the writers are trying to tell us love is like? And then we need to forgive Tam after he expresses his love towards Ta and is like, you don't need to love me back. So now we forgive him for that, right? Because I mean, like, I don't think that was enough of a sorry. You find out that I was raped and this is the reason I'm the way I am, and then you tell me that you love me, but you're not like, oh shit, I didn't know that this was going on. I'm so sorry for my behavior and how that might have contributed to your anxiety. No. So, and then the writers expect us to just be okay with their relationship just because Tam is like, no, you don't have to love me back. I understand. You just need to let me love you. That's the reason we're supposed to be okay with their relationship? You know, that? I mean, come on, guys. Like, are you saying that's what we must settle for now? That's a happy ending. That's a love story that we're going to buy. Forget the fact that they step brothers and that was basically a storyline from a porno. What I think would have been a better story for Ta would be him leaving and going back to France and meeting someone that actually makes him feel safe and starting his life over again. That would have been a better story for him. Not what the writers made us think was good enough for Ta, which I don't agree. Like, I don't think that Tam's actions were justifiable. Yeah, I'm really hoping that I'm not like mixing up the two brothers' names. Really, as I go through this whole process of keep naming them. So now the only problem with oil pastels is that they're not as thin as using a brush. So like, I feel like a little bit more cautious on this, I would say, while I'm using them. I really think I should have brought a Q-tip cotton bud for the shading part. I'm just going to use my fingers. So I'm going with orange and yellow because it's a happy flower, like happy colors. But like the idea of not using red is still like, my brain is like, why? Red roses are pretty, super pretty. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. So we will see how it goes. And then we're now going to go talk about Techno's storyline. Honestly though, like, it was the most problematic storyline for me. Like, are we even supposed to like it? Or like how are they really expecting us to feel about this storyline? Truly, because I mean, technically there was absolutely no consent. Techno was raped, and it was pre-calculated by his brother Technique and the brother's friend. And now, because Techno is older, he's getting convinced that he needs to be the responsible one and take care of him. Like, who thought that this was an okay way to write a story? I don't even can you, like, someone needs to explain to me how that ending was okay. We can't be okay with that. Like, how can we be okay with this? Like, are there people out there that are okay with that? Like, because, like I said, the writers in general seem to have a problem with consent, but there was absolutely none. He was actually raped. He was incapacitated, like he was drunk. There's no way he knew what was going on. Like, why aren't more people talking about how this is not okay behavior? You know, when straight men are afraid to sleep in the same bed as gay guys, that this is exactly the behavior they'll be afraid of. Even women, the exact behavior we're afraid of. That you just wake up and be like, oh my gosh, why does my butt hurt? I don't understand what the purpose of it was, what the purpose was. Like, someone needs to tell me if we were supposed to be okay with this. If we were actually supposed to be okay with what happened to Techno. Like, I need... Because personally, I guess you can tell, I'm not at all okay with that. It's not okay for me. Like, so what are we supposed to do with this information? Writers, please tell us. Like, are we supposed to be like, oh, he really loved him. He loved him so much. He paid the brother to make sure the parents weren't home, sleep in the brother's bed. When Techno comes in, fuck the living shit out of him, and then they get together and become boyfriends. Like, do you see how, like, the scene where he's explaining to Techno, like, did you see how scared Techno is? He's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what the hell did I just wake up to, type of thing. And that's why I'm like, not okay. Like, not even okay. Like, what were the writers going for? Like, what were they, like, what did they expect our feelings to be from this, right? What were our, like, what was our end result supposed to be? What were we supposed to be feeling at the end? Who were we supposed to be sympathizing with? Because honestly, I have no idea. Because I'm with Techno, yeah, I'm like, what the hell? Like, is he okay? Like, what happens? I mean, I don't know if they developed the story in season 2, because I won't finish season 2 because yeah, and so that's what I meant by how difficult it was. Like, I'm really, like, my advice, if you've watched it already, if you want to be angry, watch it again. Like, I literally was like, I'm doing this video now because I want to watch something happy and be happier, because that was just something else. But anyway, yeah, how did you guys feel about it? Which scenes did you like the most? Obviously, as I mentioned, my favorite scene is with Tin and Can, with the kissing scene. Like, I mean, obviously I'm not condoning any of Tin's actions throughout their relationship, but that was the cutest. That was really like, oh yeah, we needed that type thing. So loved that scene. Worst scene of the show, definitely the whole Techno situation. All right, I'm going to pause here because it would be remiss of me to not talk about the advertising. Because if you're comparing the way they advertised in Until We Meet Again and the way they advertised in Love by Chance, on point. I loved it. It was very undercover, like not so in your face like with Until We Meet Again. So I just had to mention that. So yeah, my least favorite scene was Techno's scene when he wakes up and finds out that he's been molested, because he has. We're not going to call it anything other than what it was. Again, so we're doing 5 out of 5. Out of 5 stars, I will give it. I mean, but this is the thing, right? When I first watched it, I really did enjoy it. I loved it. So originally, if I hadn't watched it again, I probably would have given it like 4 stars, right? Having rewatched it and being flabbergasted by so many of the things that happened in it, after, you know, now being more into BL and having a better idea of, I mean, just courtesy, I would probably give it, I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 stars. That's how my feelings are towards Love by Chance. I mean, I love the story, right? I'm a big fan of the type, so yes, I love it. Like, I'm not, but no. Would I watch it again? Absolutely not. Would I recommend someone to watch it? No. Like, it was my first BL and I loved it. It was very cute. It was a little bit of a slow burn, but not that bad. So that in that regard, it's a good BL to start off with, but I don't want to have people have the expectation that in BLs we just forget about the concept of consent and just are okay with people or relationships developing that way. So would I recommend it to someone else? I'm very on the fence. I don't know if I would recommend it to someone else after having rewatched it. When I watched it the first time, I definitely would have. I loved it, right? I loved I loved Pete, I loved their story, but in the second go around, like, and this is probably the reason I don't actually rewatch series or stuff a lot, is because of that. But now with the second go around, I definitely would not rewatch it again unless I want to be angry, which I highly doubt. So 2 out of 5 stars. And then, no, I would not. I don't think I'm going to recommend it to anyone else. But I mean, I would tell them about it and tell them to try, and I probably would give them a huge disclaimer. I would more likely recommend it to someone that's watched BLs before, not a person where it's their first interaction with BL. Yeah, so those are my feelings on it. How did you guys feel watching it? Like, did you enjoy it? Like me, was it the first time you watched it and now you're listening to me talking like, I didn't think of that. None of that. I didn't see any of that the first time I watched it. So is that where you are? Is that how you feel? Or did you watch it and you're like, what the hell is this? Just like me, when my second go around. Like, what was your favorite scene? Like, I mean, I can't imagine anyone else having a different favorite scene. I mean, like, I can go through all the like really good scenes, like when A was like, be my boyfriend, but I mean, it's straight after he pulls Pete off turn and throws him into the locker room and then tries to get all up in there, so also a bit problematic. So I have to say, really, my favorite scene is with Ken and Tin, and they are also my favorite couple from the show. So tell me, what are your thoughts? How do you feel? Also, if you've liked the video, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you did that. And recommend something else for me. I think I know what everyone else wants me to watch next, and I didn't want to go there before doing a Love by Chance thing, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me rant on and on about this, but I really appreciate you taking the time. Oops, just in case you missed it.
มันไม่ได้รีบไปเอาของหรอก คิดเหมือนกันไหม B2
กูก็ว่าแหละ B1
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, B1? I think I am B2.